roof rack install video. Crossbars for 2024-25 Trax. I believe it should be the same. So we got the kit right here from Amazon. I believe this is a better kit from my understanding because these little tabs are thicker. Apparently they're thinner on some other models. I mean, that's what the picture showed, but who knows. Instructions kind of suck, but they do mention that these are different lengths, so you have to be sure you use the right one in the right location. I think the front one is longer, and then these are all labeled left and right. I think these are all the same from my understanding. So we have what looks like these soft pads that have a sticky back that you unstick and probably stick onto the mounts. And then you have the bolts, washers, and then like a secondary thing that you're going to put on the inside of the rack. So the little rivets or whatever that are inside of the holes, they look like they're, you know, you can unscrew with a flathead screwdriver, but I believe you got to pull them out. I use this right here. This is just like your standard pry tool that you can get with a lot of kits online. I had one laying around. If you don't have one, you can probably get one pretty cheap, but sorry, there's the holes right there. Back ones, as you can see, I haven't taken out yet. They look like they unscrew, but once again, I don't think they do. But yeah. So here's the instructions from what I'm seeing. So I put the sticky little pad on the back of one of these, and then you have these little like black oval shaped things, and they have, it's kind of hard to film with one hand, but it has like this weird little not recess, but like part that comes up, the protruding part that needs to go in the hole, and then you have the hole on the outside as per the instructions. And then we're going to get a bolt and a washer and get the bolt and washers in there, get one side lined up, and then we'll try to get the correct bar up front. And here's the bar diagram. It says longer in the front, shorter in the back. So one thing I've already found that doesn't make much sense is the instruction shows that the little tabs that line up the holes for the bolt hole that I showed you with the little part that protrudes out, they're kind of faced towards the outside, but that makes it way too wide and doesn't line up with the holes. So you have to face it, you have to flip it so it's on the inside, just like how I'm showing you there. I kind of hand threaded it a little bit, and then I use the included Allen key, or if it doesn't have one, obviously you need an Allen key, but hopefully it has one. But yeah, just a side note, I'm sure you can figure that out. And once again, there's these little pads that come with it. You unstick it, you just line it up. There's a little part that raises up. That's going to be the top. You're just going to stick it on. For some reason, the instructions don't really mention that, even though it's included. The instructions do not really mention it. And also, something that doesn't make sense is in the instructions, it mentions that you have, see, I guess it says install gasket, but that's not really the gasket. Those are those little metal things that come, the little metal tabs. And then it has these, which looks like you're locking in. I mean, I guess it has slots for it. I guess we'll see, but I guess you do have these small bolts here, but it just looks like you don't have enough bolts for that. I don't know, something's not right here. I feel like I'm missing bolts or something. And then you want to pay attention to what says left and right. It also has arrows on the bottom, which makes it pretty easy. But soon, the crossbars do have bolts in them. You just got to take those out before you do the install. And it shows that this is front of the vehicle and the front bar. And it says something about multiple lines being the front of it, but it's kind of the part that raises up a little bit. It's pretty obvious as far as the shape goes, but the left side here would be your front. So this is front bar on. I don't have the other side tightened down, but what I noticed is with the gaskets, it's pretty tight. Maybe that's why they have the gaskets, so that it makes it a little bit easier as far as the install goes, so you don't really need two people. But I would suggest that if you install it by yourself, maybe don't tighten the opposite side until you get that side in. It's a little bit tight, and like, I don't know, it feels like you're pushing on this rail too hard. Also, side note, you got to have a 2RS, an LT, or an active, I believe, to do this install. But obviously, if you have these factory raised rails with the pre-drilled holes, you'll know. But just a side note. New suggestion, I just pulled off the front bar. Install these bolts before you put it together, just because unless you have a sunroof, you will not be able to get those in, even with the mirror and everything. I tried. Put them in there, don't tighten them all the way so you can tighten them once they're on. I mean, threading them is the hard part, tightening them is the easy part. And then carefully set it down and then snug them up. And yeah, that's my suggestion, is put the bar, assemble the whole thing, both feet in the bar before you put it on the car. All right, finally got the front ones on. I would suggest with the bolts that are on the bottom side here, snug them up as much as you can. That way you don't have to turn them very much once you have it on. Also, when you're lining them up, if you're not tall enough, which I don't think anybody is, to look over the rail and try to line up the holes. A mirror like this, a little handheld one, really helps. And onto the back. I'm gonna pre-assemble it like I did the front and get it on there. All right, finally got both of them in. I did have some trouble with the back one. I'll show you why. So what was giving me trouble is I had a piece like this. If you can see, if I can zoom or focus, it has a little tab here that wasn't ground off or cut off or deburred properly, and it wasn't dropping into the recess of the mounts really good, I guess. But yeah, if there's any pointers I could give you, is primarily get a ladder. If you have a ladder, get a ladder or a step stool so you can get a better angle. Have a mirror if you need it. If you have a sunroof, you'll have better luck with the front one. And then yeah, get it pre-assembled and kind of snugged up as far as these underneath bolts before you mount it. Another thing, even though this tool is great and it'll work, it may put some scratches on the inside of your rails, so just be cautious there. Just be careful with it. Use a cloth if you need to on the hinge part of it right here, so that you don't scratch anything. These were rated at like 220 pounds, so hopefully they're good. They're probably gonna have some wind noise, but I'll probably get some sort of bungee cord or paracord to put on there. My goal is to be mounting this thing up there. Hopefully I'll have enough room for a bike rack, but I have a feeling I won't. But yeah, they're pretty sturdy. I like them. I'm gonna make sure they're tight after you know, drive around a little bit just to make sure they're tightened up. I'll try to put the link in the description. If it doesn't work, it's because I can't do it. But if I can do it, I'll definitely put it in there. And yeah, if there's any road noise, you can get like a bungee cord or a paracord, wrap it around each one of them to kind of break the wind, and it'll lessen the noise. Yeah, I think it will have some noise, but yeah, overall they're pretty good, pretty sturdy, and a lot cheaper than OEM. Thanks for watching.